When I was younger I saw a lady drop $100. I picked it up and used all of it on Yu-Gi-Oh cards right in front of her. Basically, she dropped the $100 bill in one of the aisles of this game store. I picked it up and I remember wanting to give it back. But I was there to get Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I had recently lost all my good cards to my friend in a bet, so this was a miracle of sorts to make a solid comeback. So I kept it. I thought the woman had left the store, so I went to go purchase my cards. Right as I gave my money to the cashier, she walks up behind me watching me buy my $100 worth of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. This isn't a normal thing to do. She said nothing though, and I left before she went to go buy her items, so I didn't have to see the look on her face when she realized. There is no doubt in my mind that once she realized she was $100 short, she would make the assumption it was the kid in front of her in line who spent $100 on cards. I just want to say, I am a different person now. For every A I got on my report card, my mom would buy me a pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Hardest I've ever worked in my life. A parenting. I once found $10 on the floor in GameStop. I left it there as I assume it was someone else's and I didn't want to steal. When I went to pay for my game, one noticed I was $10 short. I connected the dots and those $10 on the floor were mine to begin with. I went back and they were gone. I had to go back to my dad and tell him I lost part of the money he gave me. He screamed and shiz but went and bought the game for me. Good story. I was standing in the edge of the water at the beach once and a $10 bill washed right up at my feet. I was so elated I snatched it up and ran up to the house to tell my parents, and then realized the $10 bill I had forgotten I put in my pocket earlier was no longer there. I found my own money. What a letdown. Hey, I once nicked £20 off my parents to buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards. The addiction hits everyone at some point. Indeed. I was severely hooked lol. My brother, age 11, 9 years younger, stole $3,000 from my mum's bank account to buy a Switch, a few games and a Samsung Galaxy. Mum forgave him though. Gosh, my parents are pushovers, just depends on which kid though. They blamed it on the fact that he has no concept of online shopping. I'm pretty sure at that age and in this day of age you'd know that a Visa card is real money. Your brother's gonna have issues if your parents don't grow a pair tbh. That's fucking insane. My brother found a wallet with $500. He actually did return it. She gave him $100 for returning it. He got himself some really nice name brand sneakers. Damn. I found a dude's wallet with over $3K in it along with his wedding band, and the dude gave me $1 as a reward. When I was 15, my parents told me that they would match however much I could save up for a car. So I stole $100 from my mom's cash stash. She always had a lot of cash hidden in her room. With my heart set on buying a car, I used the $100 to buy a half oz of decent weed. I didn't smoke at the time, so it was perfect. The guy the first bought it from gave me 17 grams instead of 14. I sold all 17 grams for $20 each and turned it into $340. I used the $340 to buy an oz of some really good top shelf weed and ended up getting 33 grams. Sold all 33 grams for $25 each, turning my money into $825. I used the $825 to buy a quarter pound of the OK weed I started with. I ended up getting about 130 grams. I sold exactly 2 ounces not over to 2 separate people for $300 each, and then sold the remaining 74 grams individually and kept this going until I had made just under $7 in a couple months. Gave my mom $1 of my money and bought a 1996 two-door Tahoe. 200 IQ move. Heroin got nothing on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You just activated my trap card. Heroin. When I was 20, the guy the first was in a long-term relationship with 4 years. Rage quit his job in a bakery with no new job lined up and blew his entire last paycheck, £400-ish, on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It wasn't the only reason we broke up. Lying and cheating on his part etc. meant I dumped his ass a few months later, but was definitely a factor, and for the last 15 years anytime I've mentioned him in a story it has been as Yu-Gi-Oh guy. He also ended up on the Jeremy Kyle Show, an old trashy UK talk show, for cheating on his next partner, so that speaks volumes too. Do you remember what episode? Jeremy Kyle is one of my guilty pleasures. Trashy reality TV is hilarious. I don't think she would immediately blame a little kid in front of her who happened to be spending $100. But what's more important is, did you get any good cards out of this? I think my nervousness when she walked up behind me and the weird look the cashier gave me when I came up to him with like 20 packets of cards might have put the pieces together in her head afterwards. Haha. I also cashed out big time. I was the man for the following weeks afterwards. I had a friend tell me to watch him order an ice cream cone, and then tell the cashier he's with the old lady in front of him. Next, I watched him. She totally paid for it and didn't notice. He enjoyed his ice cream. That's fricked up. I may have you beat. I found $200 in cash in a bank envelope by a car. Rather than leave it there or something, I went with my mom to a Toys R Us a few days later and bought $200 worth of Bionicles. Your mum had no issue with this? This Christmas my sister found $100 two folded 50s outside a cafe near our house. Knowing my dad and his personal belief that he always loses money, comes unbearably close to winning lotto but never does. My sister went home and asked Dad if he lost a $100. He cursed under his breath and described the last spot he visited, which was that cafe. She gave it back to him and he was ecstatic. That's a great story, haha. How many Yu-Gi-Oh cards does a $100 buy? Like 20 packets, lol. A post that isn't a humble brag. Have my upvote. I appreciate that. This is my first real post on Reddit, lol. Ground squirrel. Growerel. Bleep bloop. I'm a bot. This portmanteau was created from the phrase ground squirrel, FAQs, feedback, opt out. Ground squirrel. Growerel. Bleep bloop. I'm a bot. This portmanteau was created from the phrase ground squirrel, FAQs, feedback, opt out.